Hello students, in last class we already discussed about collision and work energy principle. Okay, so today we are going to discuss about some numericals based upon collision and work energy principle and conservation of energy. Okay, so the first question is like this: a body dropped from a height h reaches the ground with a speed of 1.2 under root gh meter per second. So, calculate the work done by air friction. So, according to this question, if here is a body which is from ground at a height, initial height h, okay, this is given. So, if mass of the body be m, clear? So, as the body is from the ground at a height h initially and it has some mass, so initially it has some potential energy and it is at rest because it is released from this point. So, when the body released from this point, it reaches the ground with a speed which is equal to how much? 1.2 under root gh according to the given data. Clear? So, we have to find out what? Calculate the work done by air friction. So, as we already know that friction is a non-conservative force. So, by using the work energy theorem, we can write work done by the conservative force plus work done by any non-conservative force plus work done by any external force plus if there is any pseudo force, then work done by any pseudo force must be equal to the total change in kinetic energy. So, this implies according to this question we have no external force and no pseudo force. So, these two will become 0 for this case. So, we have work done by conservative force plus work done by non-conservative force equal to total change in kinetic energy, that is kinetic energy final minus kinetic energy initial. Clear? So, according to this question, the conservative force is the force of gravity due to which the block moves from height h to the ground, and that is known as weight of the block, that is mg. So, mg is the conservative force in this case. And what is non-conservative force? Non-conservative force is the frictional force produced by air friction. Clear? And as the block move downward along this direction, so the air will apply a frictional force which is opposite to the relative motion. That means the frictional force will act along this direction by the air. Clear? So, this can be written as what is the work done by the conservative force. The conservative force acting in downward direction, that is mg, and the displacement of the body from height h to the ground is h. So, work done by conservative force will be mg h plus work done by non-conservative force, that is the air friction we have to find out, which is equal to what is kinetic energy final. Here the velocity or the speed of the body is 1.2 under root gh. So, the kinetic energy final will be half m v square will be 1.2 under root gh whole square, and initially the body has no kinetic energy because it is at rest. So, the initial kinetic energy will be 0. So, from this equation we will get the work done by the non-conservative force is equal to how much? Half m square of 1.2 under root gh minus mgh. Clear? By simplifying this, we will get what? The value is equal to 0.72. This will be equal to 0.72 mgh minus mgh. Clear? So, the final answer will be how much? So, work done by the air friction or non-conservative force is equal to minus 0.28 joule. Clear? minus 0.28 mgh joule. Clear? Okay students, so the next question is like this: a uniform chain of length L and mass m overhangs a smooth table with its 2/3 length lying on the table. Find the kinetic energy of the chain as it completely slips off the table. So according to the question, I am drawing the figure here. This is a smooth table. Okay, all surfaces are smooth. There is no friction on the surface of the table. So there is a chain which is placed like this. Okay. So the total length of the chain is given as according to the question: L, length of the chain, and m is the mass of the chain. Clear? And according to the question, initially 2/3 of its length. So if total length of the chain is L, so this much will be 2/3 L. So 2/3 length of the chain is lie on the horizontal surface of the table, and the remaining part, that means this much will be how much? 1/3. So this will be L/3. So L/3 portion of the chain is hanging from the edge of the table. Clear? So now the question is, if the chain starts to sliding from this top surface, then what will be the kinetic energy when the complete chain will lie like this? Okay, as the chain starts slipping from this level, so gradually the chain will moving downward, and there will be a situation when the complete chain will remain vertically in the height. Then what will be the kinetic energy of the chain at that instant? Clear? So we have to find out the kinetic energy of the chain as it completely slips off the table. So according to the question, the chain is a uniform chain. That means the complete mass of the chain is uniformly distributed over the complete length. So we can easily find out the mass per unit length of the chain. So I can write here the mass per unit length of the chain is how much? m/L. Let it be denoted by lambda. Linear mass density, that is mass per unit length of the chain, will be m/lambda. Clear? So let initially this level be considered as the reference level. Okay, I am considering the horizontal plane of the table as the reference level. So I am assuming the potential energy to be 0 at this level. Clear? So the horizontal surface of the table is taken as the reference level. So the potential energy at this level is taken as 0. So as this much part of the chain is hangs below this level, so the potential energy obtained by this portion of the chain will be negative, because this is the level where the potential energy is 0, and as this much length is below the reference level, so the potential energy occupied by this much length of the chain will be negative. So first of all we have to find out the total potential energy stored within this portion of the chain, because the total energy during this process is conserved, as there is no non-conservative force acting, because the complete surface is frictionless surface, and the chain moves downward only because the action of what? Gravitational force. So according to the conservation principle of energy, as the force acting on the chain is only conservative, so we can write what? Total initial potential energy plus initial kinetic energy must be equal to final potential energy plus final kinetic energy. This is the conservation principle of mechanical energy, as the complete action takes place under conservative force field. Clear? So what is the initial value of kinetic energy? As the complete chain placed in static condition and this much path is only hangs below the reference level. So the initial kinetic energy will be 0 and the initial potential energy of the system will be this much. The potential energy stored within this much part of the chain. So first of all we have to find out the potential energy stored within this much length. So for this, let assume a small portion of the chain which is at a depth x from the reference line, and I am assuming a small portion of the chain, this much portion of the chain which is of length dx. Clear? So I am assuming a small portion of the chain which is at a depth x from the reference line and the width of this much length is dx. So what is the value of potential energy stored within this much part of the chain? So let it be the du with the small amount of potential energy stored within this part of the chain. So du will be equal to how much? The mass of this portion, let it be dm into gravitational action on g, and the depth below the reference line x, and it will be negative because the reference line is taken as what? 0 and it is below the reference line, that's why the potential energy will be taken as negative. So this implies the amount of potential energy du of this small portion will be equal to minus of, what is the value of dm? Mass of this much length, and we already know mass per unit length will be this much. So dm can be written as how much? Lambda, mass per unit length, into length of that portion, that is dx, into gx. This will become how much? Minus, in place of lambda I can write capital M by L, mass per unit length, into g x dx. So this is the expression for the small amount of potential energy stored within that portion of the chain, but we have to find out the complete potential energy stored within the complete length. So if this is the energy stored within this much part, so for this complete part we have to combine such small parts to get the complete potential energy. That's for we have to integrate this equation. So now integrating this, we will get the potential energy which is vary from 0 to u will be equal to integration of minus m by L g x dx. And what is the limit? The limit varies from, if x is taken from this reference line, so x can vary from 0 to up to maximum length, and the total length of the chain will be L by 3, so its limit vary from 0 to L by 3. So now integrating this, total potential energy u, let it be u initial, equal to how much? Minus m g by L is constant, taking it out of the integral symbol, it will be x dx, limit varies from 0 to L by 3. So this will become minus mg L, and integration of x dx is x square by 2, limit varies from 0 to L by 3. So this will become minus mg by L. Putting the upper limit, it will be L square by 3 square, 9 into 2, 18, minus putting the lower limit, it will become 0. So the initial potential energy of the system is minus mg L into L square by 18. So this implies the initial potential energy will be, while L will cancel, minus mg L by 18. Okay. So this is the potential energy stored within the system initially, and as the complete chain is in rest, so initial kinetic energy will be 0. So now we have to find out the potential energy for the final case. So final case will be what? When the complete chain will overhang like this. That means this portion of the chain just touch the ground and the complete chain remain vertically like this. So now the complete length will become how much? Complete length of the chain, that is L. So this will be the total final energy or the final potential energy of the chain plus the kinetic energy gained by the chain. So what is the final potential energy of the chain? We have to calculate it. So as we calculate the potential energy stored within this portion length of the chain by taking the limit from 0 to L by 3, as this much length is L by 3. Similarly, when the complete chain will remain like this, at that instant we have to take the limit of x from 0 to complete length of the chain, that will be what, 0 to L. So if this much portion is taken as the part of the chain which have a potential energy, how much we already discussed, the du part will be how much, minus m by L g x dx. Now the value x will vary from 0 to complete length of the chain, that is L. So now integrating this we will get du from 0 to u final, which is equal to how much, minus mg by L integration of x dx. Limit varies from 0 to complete length of the chain L, because finally the complete chain will be remain vertically like this. So this will become how much, minus mg by L into x square by 2. Limit varies from 0 to L. So the final potential energy will become how much, minus mg by L into L square by 2. This implies we have the final potential energy as minus mgl by 2. Clear? So initially the chain has this much potential energy and finally the chain has this much potential energy. So what is the final kinetic energy gained by the chain? So according to the conservation principle of energy, we can write, as the complete action takes place under conservative force field, so we can write initial potential energy plus initial kinetic energy equal to final potential energy plus final kinetic energy. And as we have the initial potential energy how much, minus mg L by 18 plus initial kinetic energy is 0, which is equal to final potential energy, that is minus mgl by 2 plus final kinetic energy we have to find out. So from this, by solving, we will get what, the final kinetic energy as. So this implies the kinetic energy final will be equal to how much, taking this into the left hand side, it will be minus mgl by 18 plus mgl by 2. So from solving this we will get mgl by 2 into minus 1 by 9 plus 1. Okay. Okay. So by solving this we will get what? So this implies it will be mgl by 2 whole into minus 1 plus 9 by 9. So this implies it will become how much, mgl by 2 into 8 by 9. Clear? So solving this we will find out the final kinetic energy of the chain will be 4 by 9 mgl. So this is the final kinetic energy when the complete chain will remain vertically. Okay. Okay. So according to the question number 3, a particle is placed at A. So A is a point where is a particle is placed. Clear? Let mass of the particle be m. Of a frictionless track. So this complete track is frictionless. There is no friction at each and every point. Clear? Which is named as A, B, C. Then as shown in the figure, so it's pushed slightly. So the particle is just pushed slightly towards right. So a small amount of pushing is applied on this particle towards right direction. That's why it will start moving. So we have to find out the speed of that particle when it reaches point P. So when we pushed it slightly, it will start moving in rightward direction from A, and when it will reach at the point B, which is at a height of 0.5 meter, whereas the height of this point A from the reference level is 1 meter. So we have to find out what the velocity or speed of the particle at this point B. Clear? So initially the particle is at rest at a height 1 meter from this reference line. Let it be the reference line. So initially the particle has some potential energy, and as it is at rest, so it has zero kinetic energy, and as the complete action takes place under the gravitational acceleration force only, then there will be no non-conservative force existing. So we can apply the conservation principle of mechanical energy. So according to conservation principle of mechanical energy, we can write initial potential energy plus initial kinetic energy must be equal to final potential energy plus final kinetic energy. Okay, and according to this question, initially the particle of mass m is at a height of what? 1 meter. So initially it has potential energy mass m, gravitational acceleration g. Let here we have to take g equal to 10, okay, meter per second square. So it will be m g into h, if this complete height will be h or h1, let it be, and this height will be h2. So I can write mg h1 plus initial kinetic energy is 0 because the body is at rest, which is equal to final potential energy, that will be how much? mg h2 plus final kinetic energy. It has certain velocity at this point. I don't know what is the value of velocity because I have to calculate it. So m half m v square. So now putting the values, we will get m as m because we don't have the mass. G is taken as 10 into h1 is how much? 1 meter, which is equal to m, again g is taken as 10, h2 is equal to 0.5 meter, so I can write it 1 by 2 plus half m v square. So this implies I can write the m will cancel from both the side. Okay, so it will become how much? 10 equal to, this will be 5 plus v square by 2. This implies we will get 5 equal to v square by 2. So this implies v will be how much? Under root 10 meter per second. So this is the value of velocity at this point when the body will reach, which is at a height of half meter from the reference level. Okay. Okay, so the next question will be like this. So as shown in the figure, in a frictionless curved path, there is a block of mass m which is at a height 4.9 meter from the ground level. Clear? And there is a spring of having some spring constant k, which is given as 400 Newton per meter, and one end of the spring is fixed to the rigid support. Clear? So the question is like this: a spring of spring constant given as 400 Newton per meter is attached at one end to a wedge fixed rigidly with the horizontal path. A 40 gram mass is released from rest at a height of 4.9 meter on the curved track. So mass of the block is given as how much? 40 gram. It is released from the height of 4.9 meter. So question asks to us that find the maximum compression of the spring. So as the block will release and there is no friction exist, so the block will move along this direction, and finally potential energy will convert it into kinetic energy, and when the block strikes this spring at this end, it will move along this direction, and due to the velocity of the block, the spring will get compressed along this direction. So we have to find out by what maximum compression is possible for this condition. So as in this case there is no friction exist on the track, so the complete mechanical energy of the system will be conserved. because the complete action takes place because of the gravitational attraction or the gravitational force, that is weight of the block. So we can write the total mechanical energy of the system will be conserved, that is initial potential energy plus initial kinetic energy must be equal to final potential energy plus final kinetic energy. Clear? So what is the initial potential energy? In this case there is two types of potential energy. One is the gravitational potential energy for this block due to its position, and the other one is the potential energy of the spring due to its change in configuration. So initially the potential energy obtained by the block is how much? mg, the height, initial height, let it be mass into g into let the initial height this much is equal to h. So mgh plus what is the initial potential energy of the spring? As the spring is in its natural length, there is no compression or no elongation of the spring, that's why the initial potential energy of the spring will be 0. So this much will be the initial potential energy of the complete system. And initial kinetic energy, as the block is at rest, it has no kinetic energy, and same for the spring. So the initial kinetic energy will be 0 and the complete initial potential will be this much, which is equal to final potential energy. As this block moves down to the horizontal plane, so its potential energy due to its position will become 0. But as the block compress the spring, let x be the maximum compression, so the spring will now have some potential energy. And what is the potential energy for the spring? We already derived it, that is half k x square. What is x? X is the compression of the spring and k is the spring constant. So this much will be now the total final potential energy, because the position of the block from the ground frame or reference level is 0. So the potential energy due to its position or gravitational potential energy finally becomes 0, and due to change in configuration of the spring will possess some potential energy which is equal to half kx square plus what is the kinetic energy of the system? As the spring is completely compressed, so its kinetic energy will be 0, because both the block and spring are in rest, that's why the final kinetic energy also is equal to 0. Clear? So now equating these two, we will get how much? The initial potential energy due to the position of the block will be equal to the potential energy stored within the spring due to its change in configuration. So using the values, we will get mass is how much? 40 gram. So you can write it 40 into 10 to the power minus 3 kg into g, let it be taken as 10. H, what is h? 0.9 meter. Okay, or else if we are taking is equal to half, again k, what is k? K is given as 10 Newton per meter, 400 Newton per meter, so 400 Newton per meter, and x, we have to find out the value of x square. So this implies we will get how much? 400 into 10 to the power minus 3 into 4.9 is equal to 200 x square. So this will be equal to 0.4 into 4.9 divided by 200 under root, which is equal to x. Clear? And by solving this, we will get, this will be equal to, okay, so by solving this we will get x equal to 0.098 meter, or this can be written as 9.8 centimeter. So this is the maximum compression of the spring during this case. Okay, so the next question is, a block of mass m is released as shown in the figure from a height h from the free end of the spring. This is the free end of the spring, and the block released at a height h from this end of mass m. So the other end of the spring is fixed to this rigid support which has a spring constant K. So when the block will release from this height, it will move downward and it will try to compress the spring. So the question asked to us is find out the maximum compression of the spring in this case. So as the block is at a height h above this spring, so it will have some potential energy that is taken as how much? mgh, if I am considering this level as the reference line. So the initial potential energy will be mgh. So when the block will move downward, its potential energy will gradually decreases and its kinetic energy will gradually increase, and finally when it placed over the spring, it tries to compress the spring, and at a certain situation when the complete compression of the spring will provide a restoring force, and if that restoring force of the spring equilibrium situation arises when the spring force will cancel or balance the weight of the block, then that value of compression due to which the spring force balances the weight of the block will be the maximum compression of the spring. Clear? So if this is the height of the block from this end of the spring, but when the block will release, it's initially at rest and has some potential energy, let be u. So when it will start moving, due to the gravitational force of attraction, its potential energy starts decreasing and its kinetic energy will start increasing. So when it will reach at this end or just touch the free end of the spring, it will not remain at this position because it has already certain velocity. So due to the inertia of motion, it tries to move further, and the maximum velocity obtained by the block will be at this position, and gradually when it will start compressing the spring will try to apply a restoring force in the opposite direction and its velocity will start decreasing, and finally there will rise a point where the block will come to rest, and this compression where the block will come to rest will be equal to what? Let be x, and this x is known as the maximum compression of the spring. So what is the total change in potential energy? This is the depth x and this is the height h. So total potential energy of the block will be how much? mg into h plus x. Clear? Because initially this is the height h, and as the block still go further a displacement of x, so the complete height of the block from this level where the potential energy will be 0 is equal to how much? H plus x. So mg h plus x will be equal to how much? Now the block is at rest at this situation. So when the block is at rest at this position, the complete potential energy of the block will be converted into the potential energy of this spring. Clear? Because initially when the block is at rest, the kinetic energy of the block is 0, and finally at this situation the block is also again at rest. So the final kinetic energy of the block is also 0, and the spring is fixed to this end. So spring has no kinetic energy. So and as there is no non-conservative force exists, so the complete mechanical energy of the system will be conserved in this situation. So the initial potential energy plus kinetic energy will be equal to the final potential energy plus kinetic energy. So if the complete block travels a path h plus x, so the initially at this level, what will be the potential energy? That is mg h plus x. I am considering this level as the reference level where the block come to rest. So the complete height of the block from this reference level will be how much? Mg h plus x. Now this potential energy is completely converted into the potential energy acquired by this spring due to its change in configuration, which can be written as half kx square, because x is the maximum elongation which I am taking. Now we have to find out the value of x. So this will become how much? mg h plus x into 2 by k equal to x square, or it will be in terms of a quadratic equation. So by solving this we will get half k x square equal to mgh plus mgx. So this implies half k x square minus mgx minus mgh equal to 0. So it will be in form of a quadratic equation. So by solving this equation you can easily get the value of x, because this relation is like this: ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. Clear? So by solving this quadratic equation we can easily find out the value of x, which will be what? The maximum compression of the spring. Okay. So the next question is, a block of mass m moving at a speed, the speed of the block is given as v, collides with another block of mass 2m at rest. The lighter block comes to rest after the collision. Calculate the value of coefficient of restitution, that is E. Okay. So in this case, a block of mass m moving at a speed of v, which is collides with another block of mass 2m which is at rest, and after the collision the lighter blocks comes to rest. So we have to find out what? The coefficient of restitution. So during this collision we already know that for any kind of collision the total momentum of the system, which is initial, is equal to the complete momentum of the system at final condition. Whatever may be the type of collision, the momentum, linear momentum, is always conserved. So in this case, what is the initial momentum? That is mass of the lighter block small m, and it is moves with velocity v, plus what is the initial momentum of the heavier block, because it is at rest, so its momentum is 0. So the initial momentum of the system will become how much? M into v, which is equal to what is the final momentum of the system? As after the collision the lighter blocks comes to rest, so the final momentum of the lighter block will be 0, and the heavier block will move with certain velocity. Let, we don't know what is the value of velocity, let it be 2m into v dash. Clear? So this implies we will get the final velocity of separation of the block, heavier block, will be how much? v by 2. Clear? So the initial velocity of approach u1 is equal of the first block is v, and what is the velocity of approach of the block 2? u2 is 0, because it is at rest. Similarly, the velocity of separation for first block v1 is 0, because it will comes to rest after collision, and the separation of the second block v2 is equal to v dash, which is equal to v by 2. So according to the definition of coefficient of restitution, E is equal to the magnitude of velocity of separation, that is v2, relative velocity of separation, that is v2 minus v1, divided by magnitude of relative velocity of approach, that is u1 minus u2. So now putting the values, we will get E equal to v2, what is v2 equal to v dash, which is equal to v by 2 minus v1 is equal to 0 divided by what is u1, u1 is v minus u2 is 0. So this implies you will get the value of coefficient of restitution E equal to v by 2 divided by v. This implies E is equal to 1 by 2. So the value of coefficient of restitution is half. Okay. Okay. So students, the next question is like this: a body of mass m is dropped from a height h on a surface having coefficient of restitution E. So let this is a surface, and the coefficient of restitution provided for this surface is E, and here is a body, of mass m which is dropped or released from a height h. Clear? So as the body will release from this height h, it will come down under the action of gravitational force, and when it will strikes the ground, it will get some impulsive force, and due to which it will again rebounds back in this direction. So according to the question, a body of mass m is dropped from height h on a surface of coefficient of restitution E, and after the collision of this body at this surface, it will again rebound in this direction and it will attain certain height which is given as h. So we have to find out the value of h. Clear? So in this case, initially the block is released from an height h. So when the block will just at the state to touch the ground, it has some velocity v, which is the final velocity of the body. So we have to first find out what is the final velocity of the body. So according to the equation of kinematics, v can be written as a v square minus u square equal to 2as. In this case, we have to find out the value of v. So this implies v square. What is u? As initially the block is at rest, here u equal to 0. So I am taking minus u equal to 0, which is equal to 2. And what is a? As the body is moving downward under the acceleration of gravity, so it will be minus g. And what is the height h? As the height h is also measured in downward direction from the point of initial motion, that is minus h. So this will become v square is equal to 2gh. Minus minus will become 2gh. So this implies we will get v equal to how much? Under root 2gh. So this is the maximum or final velocity with which the block or body will strike the wall. So what is the initial velocity of approach for the body? u1 equal to v, which is equal to under root 2gh. And what is the initial velocity of approach for the ground? u2 is 0, as ground is at rest. Clear? And when the body will just strike the ground and it will move upward, then after the effect it will goes in above the ground. So the final velocity of separation for the block or the body v1 is equal to how much? We don't know. We have to find out the value of v1. Clear? Then what is the value of separation for the ground? v2, again it is 0, because the ground always remain in rest. So we can find out the velocity of separation after collision of the block of mass m. So by using the definition for coefficient of restitution, E is equal to v2 minus v1 mod divided by u1 minus u2 mod. So this implies we will get E equal to, what is v2 is 0 minus what is v1, that is v1 equal to, we have to find out, so minus v1 divided by what is u1, u1 is 2gh root over minus what is u2, that is 0. So this implies we will get v1 equal to E under root 2gh. If I am taking the mod, this will be the velocity or speed of v1. And if I am only taking the directions without the magnitude, so it will be negative. That means the v1 will be in opposite to that of the initial velocity v, as here the initial velocity is downward. After collision, the final velocity of separation will be in upward direction. So this is the direction of v1 and its value will be equal to how much? Coefficient of restitution into the initial velocity of approach 2gh. So the final velocity in upward direction after collision will be how much? E into 2gh. Clear? So now we have to find out the height attained by the body. So after collision, this is the initial velocity of the block, which is equal to E into 2gh under root. So now we have to find out the maximum height. So now again we have to put the equation of kinematics. So here we have initial velocity u, which is equal to v1, and as it is in upward direction, so it will be e into 2gh, that is positive. What is a? Acceleration due to gravity, downward, minus g. What is h? We have to find out small h, the value. Clear? What is v? As the final velocity will be 0, because the height up to which the body can move, so final velocity at that point will be 0. So by equation of motion, v square minus u square equal to 2as, I can write v will be 0 minus u square equal to e square into 2gh, which is equal to 2 into g is equal to minus a equal to minus g, h above the ground plus h, sorry, it will be small h. We have to find out the value of h. So this implies we will get minus e square 2gh equal to minus 2g small h. So 2g will get cancelled, negative sign will get cancelled. So from this we will get the maximum height attained by the rebounds of the block or body will be e square into h. Clear? So this is the height h attained by the body after collision on the ground. So here it's a general formula. You have to remember, if the coefficient of restitution of the surface is e, then the height attained by the body after first collision on the ground or level will be e square h, and the velocity after the collision will be e into under root 2gh. What is under root 2gh? It is the velocity with which it is approaching. So the velocity of separation will become how much? E times of the velocity of approach. Clear? Okay students, so the next question is, a 0.1 kg ball moving at speed of 5 meter per second in positive x direction collides with another ball of 0.3 kg which is at rest. Clear? And assuming this collision is elastic, we have to determine the final velocity of the balls. So the figure will be like this. Here is a ball of mass 0.1 kg which is moving along positive x-axis along this direction with velocity given as 5 meter per second, and it will collide with another ball which is at rest, and the mass of this ball is 0.3 kg. So we have to find out the final velocity, because after collision, if this ball will strike with each other, and assuming the collision is elastic, so after collision they will move with some velocity v1 and v2. So we have to find out the final velocity, and we know the formula for the velocity. Final velocity we already derived. v1 equal to how much? m1 minus m2 into u1 divided by m1 plus m2 plus 2 m2 u2 divided by m1 plus m2, and similarly the formula for v2 is how much? m2 minus m1 into u2 divided by m1 plus m2 plus 2 m1 u1 divided by m1 plus m2. Clear? This is the expression for final velocity of body 1 and body 2, and according to the question, what is the value of m1? m1 equal to 0.1 kg. What is the value of m2? m2 equal to 0.3 kg. And similarly, what is the value of initial velocity of block 1? Body 1 is 5 meter per second, and for that of block 2, which is at rest, that is 0. So putting the value of m1 and m2, u1 and u2 in this formula, we will get the final velocity for the body 1 will be m1 is how much? 0.1 minus m2 will be how much? 0.3 into u1 is 5 divided by m1 plus m2, that is 0.4 plus 2m2 u2 divided by m1 plus m2. As u2 is 0, this complete term will become 0, so plus 0. So this implies we will get v1 is equal to how much? Minus 0.2 into 5 divided by 0.4, or this implies it will be 2. So V1 is equal to minus 2.5 meter per second. That means the after collision the ball V1 will move opposite to that of the initial direction, that is with speed 0.25 meter per second. So after collision the block V1 will move along this direction. Okay. Similarly for V2, as U2 is 0, this complete term will become 0. So V2 will become how much? 2 m1 equal to how much? 0.1 into U1 is 5 divided by m1 plus m2, that is 0.4. So this will become how much? By cancelling this it will be 4, this will be 2, again 2.5 meter per second, that is V2. So after collision the block V2 will move along this direction with 2.5 meter per second. Okay. Okay students, so this is all about the numerical based upon conservation of mechanical energy of a system and the collision between two bodies. Clear? So you can try yourself by some doing other numericals by referring some books, or if you have any doubt you can ask anytime. So follow this video to get some idea how to solve numerical based upon conservation principle of mechanical energy and collision. Okay, thank you.